Galloway's Wow Wednesdays, product of the month, Optelec Compact 10 with Mark Silver.
Electronic products, electronic magnifiers. So that's the optical magnifiers with a lens, like your normal lens magnifiers. Well, these are all the electronic ones with the camera and the screen, and they can magnify up a lot further than a normal optical magnifier can. So I'm going to start off with the Compact 10. Now, this is the Compact 10, and this is the one, Andrew's had this on loan for a bit as well. I'm going to describe them, but I actually, if you can manage to see, it's on the screen as well there, the one that I've got in front of me. So it's got a small button on the side. I'm going to press that to turn it on, and the screen comes on. There is actually at the back this stand. So the stand at the back means it sits up towards you quite nicely, and it doesn't just sit flat onto the table. And then all you do is you put it on what you want to read. So I've got
battery level 75%.
I've got, that was just something else in the background there. I've just got my brochure here, so I'm just going to put it onto the brochure. And if those of you can see, it's coming up quite nice and big up on the screen. If I want to make that bigger, it's a touch screen system. So all I do is touch the screen somewhere, and some big buttons appear at the bottom. Plus is always at the bottom right. So if I press that plus, that makes the writing bigger up on the screen. And I can change the contrast, so I can make it a nice strong white on black if I want to on there as well. So there's actually 4 buttons along the bottom of the screen, the plus on the bottom right, and if I touch the screen again, there's a minus on the bottom left. So they're to make it bigger and smaller. And there's 2 in the middle. So the one on the right changes the color. So I've got yellow and black, yellow and blue, etc., going right the way around to normal color. And then there is another button here, which is a text to speech button. So I'll come on to that in a second. But basically, you just put it over what you want to read, and it comes up nice and clear up on the screen. And you just move the whole of the screen across the writing to read what you want to read. It's a newspaper, you put it on there, and whatever comes up on the screen there. Now, obviously, if you wanted to write or something, that's pretty tricky because you have to reach around the back of it and try to find out where to put your hand underneath there. So that's quite tricky to do. So what they've done is they've built another camera into it. So along the top is a line, and if you lift that line up, it's an extra camera. So it comes out, there's a second camera out onto the right-hand side. So that means you can put something underneath here to the right of it, and it appears on the screen. So you've got a lot of space. You've got about a foot or so underneath there that you can get your hand nicely underneath, so you can write underneath it or fill out a crossword or something like that. And whatever you do comes up big up on the screen. So a lot of you won't be able to see, but those of you can see, my hand is coming up magnified up on the screen when I've got it actually over to the right of the machine itself. So that's really good for doing stuff underneath there. Earlier on, I changed my hearing aid battery underneath there. So I got it underneath, I could look at it and have it and magnify it up on the screen. I could see what I was doing underneath there. But you could pick up a stitch if you were knitting, or do a bit of embroidery under that camera, and you could look at it onto the screen itself. So that's really useful in that respect. Now, if I push that back down, we go back down to the normal camera underneath there. But, I said there's that stand at the back. If I close that stand up, we go back to a third camera. So I've actually got 3 cameras in it. And this camera is now looking at distance. So I can look over at my wall. I'm in the kitchen here, because I'm not in the office at all, but there's a board on the wall there with some bits and pieces on, and I can touch the screen and zoom in on that board, and I can see what's over there. I've got some flowers here, and I can zoom in on those flowers and they come up on the screen as well. So I can use it to hold and look around. Now, it's about an iPad or a bit bigger sort of machine itself. So you can't hold it out for a long time, I would say, but it's really nice and easy to look around like a magnet, almost like a monocular or looking at the distance at what you want to look around there. So they're the three separate cameras. One is built for looking at distance. If I open up the stand, the second one is for looking down at writing to come up on the screen. And the third camera is when I lift up this extra arm at the top, that produces another camera higher up, and so I can do stuff underneath it. So there's three separate cameras. Now, we do two versions of this, and everything I've talked about so far is does both of the two versions do. But I'm now going to say that the one version does all the magnification. The second version has text to speech in, so it will read out to you as well. So if I get a bit of text, and this is large printing in my magazine, so I'm going to get some smaller print. I've got a normal size print magazine page here, and I'm going to put it actually next to, with this arm still out, the arm that comes up still out. And if I line up the bit of text I want to read right next to the right-hand side of the machine, then this camera sees the whole of that A4 sheet. So what I do is I've got that underneath there, and I just press one of the buttons on the screen, that fourth button I was talking about. It takes a picture of the whole of the text, the whole of that page on there, and then it analyzes it and it will read it out. Now, this is in columns and different articles.
Chief Executive's comment. Happy New Year. I hope, as we see off the last year and welcome the new, there will be brighter times. This is the 75th.
I'm going to pause it there. So that's it reading it out, and it's recognized the columns. It started at the top left, reading it out nice and clearly. I can change the volume, so I can increase that volume. I'll increase the volume a bit so you can hear that.
Anniversary year of the Arms House Association, and like all charities on such significant occasions, we look back at our founding bed.
So one or two things it gets a bit wrong. It said occasions rather than occasions, but it generally will read it out right the way through. I don't know if any of you who can see have noticed, but it's actually coming up big up on the screen as well in nice clear text. And you can actually make that really nice and big. So I've made really big writing on the screen. And when I press play, so you can see it nice and big coming up on the screen, and you can hear it.
Actress and ask what they would do and how they would celebrate. I think Lemon Hackett would be very proud of how ambitious.
You can also make it slower and faster as well on there. I've got it on big writing, white on black on here, but you can have different colors coming up on the screen to read out that normal color text out on there. And it started at the top left of the magazine. It's reading down the column here. It'll read down those columns. Doesn't matter if it's white on purple like that. It'll just read through it and then go to the second column and then stop where there's a line across and read the fourth column and then read that other article separately on there. So it's quite good at working out which way and what to read in the right order on the screen. So, as I said, we've done it like that, and we can close it back down. If I close that arm back down and turn it off on the top right-hand corner, then we're back to the normal magnifier underneath there. So what you can do with the normal magnifier is you can do the same thing, but it won't read the whole of the A4. So when you're doing it, got the top camera folded down, so it's just looking like normal again, sit it onto the text, and you can get it to read out, but it won't read the whole of the script, whole of the paper, because it can't see it all. It's sitting on part of it there. It'll just read what it can see on there. So if it's a small article or a little bit of writing on there, then you can get.
We have all experienced a period of great uncertainty for over the past year and some.
So it's just reading out the paragraph that it could see underneath there. So if it's a small bit of writing or a little label or something, you could put it on and just read it like that without having to open up the separate arm. But it would read out that extra bit of text on there. So that's the basics I've gone through on using that one. There are some extra features on there. You can go into the menu, and what I can do for that is I've got it on one of the settings here, which is the easiest setting. And so they have an easy setting and a more complicated setting. So what do you do to change it is you hold your finger on the change button, and those of you can see it says mode, easy and advanced. And I'm going to touch the advanced one, which makes it a little bit more complicated. So on the screen now, instead of having just 4 buttons, we've got 5 buttons. I've also got a clock at the top. So if I press the clock, it tells you the time and the day on there very quickly. You can get rid of that. And plus you have a menu at the top left. So here I can change the voice to a male or female voice. I can put a line on the screen. So I can put a false line on the screen. It tells you what the battery charge is there. I can save a document on there. Retrieve a document that I've already saved, and I can change the brightness. And I can also, it's giving me a load of other options. I can mirror cast. So if you have a smart television, that's a modern television in the last couple of years, then you can just put the image, whatever's on the screen, will come up big up on your television. So you can have a really big image on your screen when you're doing, and anything you do on here would come up on the television as opposed to this screen here. So you can do that by mirror casting onto your smart television. It's also got Bluetooth, so you could Bluetooth connect to some headphones if you wanted to listen to headphones. It has got a normal headphone socket in the side as well, but you can link it to a Bluetooth headphone, so there's no wires. You can change where the buttons are on the screen. And you can also change the sounds and the standby, how long it takes before it goes off on its own, or you can stop it going off on its own at all, or go back to normal. So there's quite a few other options within there if you wanted to get really into using all the possible options on it. But the other nice thing is it closes down really nice and small and flat, just quite easy to carry around. Comes with a nice carry case. I've just got that over here. I'll just show you that. So it's a nice leather carry case that fits inside. Gives it quite a lot of protection on there, and obviously the charger and everything as well. And with the charger, it's a USB. I'll hold up quite close. So you've got the on-off button, the headphone socket, and it's USB-C. So that means you don't have to have it in a certain way. Go either way in, and it'll just connect to a normal USB socket, either charged from a computer or just plug it into a 3-pin socket if you want to be nice and easy on there. So that's the Compact 10 HD. Now, as I said, there's 2 versions of that. The version without the speech is 995, and the version with the speech is 1495. And you can upgrade at a later date. So you can get the one without speech, and then later on upgrade to it with speech if you want. So that was the Compact 10 HD. And the other one I'm going to concentrate on showing you today is the Clear Reader. Sorry, not the Clear Reader. It's a smart reader. So for those of you who know what a Clear Reader is, Clear Reader is a very similar version that we do, but the Smart Reader is the newer version. And the Smart Reader is a reading machine solely. So we have, it's a one-piece system with an arm here, and that comes down flat. You press it in, it pops up, and that starts the machine. It takes about 30 seconds to start and beeps until it's ready. But this machine is designed, whereas the last one was a touch screen, so you do have to have a bit of sight to see where you're touching. This one, you don't need any sight at all because it has big physical buttons on. Those you can see, this nice big button here that's raised up. You can feel with the arrows on the top, big buttons on the side, and nice big orange buttons on the top here. So we sell a lot of these to people who have no sight at all, but also if you have some sight as well, and also some people who don't really have much eyesight loss, but just really want to listen to what they have. So in a similar way, what you do is you put something underneath it. This time it fits just in front of it, and you can feel where it fits. It just fits right in front of an A4 sheet, fits nice up snugly up to it. and you press the button, one of these orange, there's 2 orange buttons on the top, and you press one of these. So I'm going to press one of these. It's going to take a picture, tells you what it's doing. So it tells you it's processing and makes a tick-tock sound, so you know it's doing something. It's not just sitting there silent. You don't know if it's on or off. And
Muscle Roll Bronze House Association ambassadors. Across the country, man with our members are looking to build, refurbish and improve their Adams houses. The Adams House movement is becoming an
So it's a big button on the bottom there in the middle, and I've just pressed that, and that's paused the button. That's paused the reading out. So this was what it was reading. This is the this normal size magazine again, and it's read the title across the top, and it's read down the first column until there's a line between the 2 articles, and it's stopped at that line, and then it's going on to the second column. So it's recognised where exactly how it should read on there. But there are a couple of extra buttons. They're all physical again on this one. So on the left hand side, there's a wheel for the volume.
minimum volume 5, volume 7.
So you turn the volume up on one side, and there's another wheel on the other side, which is how fast it reads out.
OCR speed 3, OCR speed 2.
So you can use that, and it just reads out at a different speed or a different volume. I press the play and the pause in the middle, and that just paused it. And if I press it again, even without whatever is underneath there, it's going to keep
increasing a significant part of the response to the affordable housing crisis across.
So it just paused exactly how it was. So you can go and answer the door, or answer the telephone, go and make a cup of tea, and it'll just pause it nicely, and you can just carry on reading it later on. Again, this has a headphone socket in the side, so you can plug in headphones for it.
Ready to scan.
And there is actually also in the back an HDMI cable. Now that's what that is for, is you can link that again through to a television, but you would have an image of the writing coming up on the screen. So it worked a little bit like the first machine did. The text would come up as it's reading, but it would come up on your television, but you'd have to link it with a wire to the television there, and it would come up, and it would the text would come up nice and clear and big up on the screen as it read it out to you. So you can do that part of it as well. There's a couple of extra buttons on here. So on the left, there's a backwards button. On the right, it's a forwards button. That goes obviously takes you forward and backwards within the document. And there's a button at the back here to save an image and one to retrieve it. Now, the only thing with this one, when it saves a document, it just saves it chronologically. So it just saves it in order of how you saved it. You can't give it a title or anything like that. We do have another machine that does that, but it's a bit more expensive. So this one would just save, so you can just save some documents, but it just saved it in date order. When you finish with it, all you do is push that arm down.
Powering down.
Tells you what it's doing. It's powering down again. And got a big handle on the top. You can carry it around and take it wherever you want to. This one's got an 8-hour battery inside it, or you can just have it plugged into mains power as well. So this one's quite a lot of people just leave it plugged into mains power nearly all the time, but you can take it out and you get 8 hours on that battery. And it's called the Smart Reader, and that's 1495. So actually the reading out is the same price as the other one. So it's 1495 for the Compact 10 HD speech, and it's 1495 for the Smart Reader. So they are the two documents, they're the two products talk about today. I have brought 1 or 2 other ones along, just like the small Compact Plus, which is a little one to magnify up, but that doesn't have speech. Any of these other ones don't have speech. And have a large screen one, which is the Traveller. But the 2 speech ones are the ones I've concentrated on today. So that's it for now. Is there any questions on any of that?
Just to check, am I right, Mark, that the same price for the Smart Reader and the 10, but the advantage of the 10 would be, as you said, with you were able to get a big image on the screen and cope with your hearing aids, which seems to me that you know, and cutting, well, not cutting your nails perhaps, but should you wish to put varnish on your nails or put a stitch in something or something like that, it would be more of an advantage to have that than the smart reader.
Absolutely, yes. So if you've got enough sight to be able to see that type of thing with magnification, then the Compact 10 would definitely be the better one to go for. If your eyesight's pretty bad and you're really not getting much benefit from magnification at all, then the smart reader obviously is a better one.
Yeah, when you mentioned the television screen, how did that work?
Yeah, so it's on new modern televisions, so, you know, probably 2 or 3 years old, but it's worth checking. Some older ones will work as well. Then it just, you select it on the machine and you go into the menu on the television and select, this device will come up as listed. You click on it and it'll just come up on the screen. It is, once you set it up once, it seems to work much easier after that, but you do have to select it from the television.
So it makes the picture on the television bigger?
No,
Yes.
what it does is,
No.
whatever's on this screen, so
Right.
whatever writing or you put your hand underneath or a picture or anything comes up on the whole of your television screen.
I see. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so within your menu settings on your smart TVs now, there's a section that says mirroring.
Yes.
Because some people get it confused for the fact that your device or your TV is not Bluetooth enabled, and they're two separate things to be asking. So my TV is not Bluetooth enabled, but I can mirror either my Kindle Fire or my iPad to the telly and see what's on that screen much bigger on my larger screen.
Thank you.
But I think that Compact 10, it uses a cable, doesn't it, to connect it to the telly?
No, that does Miracast, that one, the Compact 10 does. Yeah.
Oh, it does it? Right,
Yes.
right. Oh, that's a lot safer, because a cable across the living room floor, especially anybody with children.
Yes. Yeah.
The thing I like about the Compact 10 is once you've finished with it, it's much easier to put away. It'll fit under your coffee table, it'll fit in the drawer. Whereas if your smart reader, it's taken up yet more space somewhere else, isn't it?
Has to sit on top of something or whatever. Yeah.
Just looking at the width of that, it looks like you could, depending on your level of sight, read an entire column of text without moving sideways, couldn't you?
On the Compact 10?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, you're right. It does depend, David, on how much sight you've got, because because it's quite a big screen on here.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm thinking. You know, just place it over your heart, have your magazine on your lap, and
that's it.
Find the column you want, because you can often. Well, I can often see the headline of a column. Usually, certainly in a magazine, you know, it's usually a headline.
Yeah, I mean, I've just put it on.
If you've got the free paper that comes through, you know, and somebody says to you, oh, there's a particular article on page 6, you need to have a read of that. Open the extendable section, am I right, Mark? And then, you know, find the right page and click it and get that article read out to you. Yes,
yeah. So you could do it like that as well. Yeah, you could do it either way. The good thing about the arm is you can move it around and see that and say, oh, that's the wrong page, turn over the page quite easily with the arm up there. When it's sitting on it, of course, if you're on the wrong page, then you've got to take it off and get to the right page, etc. So it is a bit easier to use with the arm up there, extended.
So I think quite a few of us get our free local paper from our different areas, and you know, quite often there's things in there that we're missing out on because we can't access it. Yeah. If people knew that you had access to a device like this, then they would be able to say, oh, especially like in Sefton at the moment, they've decided to put pop-up cycle lanes up.
Oh, right.
Now that was advertised in the paper that they were going to do this as a consultation. But the VI community had no chance of knowing this because it wasn't accessible for us to find out
Right.
about. That would be really good to know that, you know, those kind of notices are always on page whatever in your newspaper.
Yeah, sure.
So how about
there's-
if somebody wanted to, anybody else got any other questions?
Yeah.
I just wondered, my problem is the Radio Times. The print is small. There's a lot in the columns. It's very dense. Have you tried the Compact 10 out with the Radio Times?
Yes, I have, and it works pretty well. Yes, it works much better than the smart reader, because the smart reader, it will read everything on the column. So it's with all the numbers at the end of each of the programs, it can take a bit going through sometimes. But no, I have tried it with the Compact 10, and it does seem to work quite well. But you do have with all of the products, they've extended the trial period to change your mind from 2 weeks to 4 weeks. So you now have a month to make sure it's the right thing for you. So that's the type of thing, you know, if you really look at the Radio Times a lot, you try it with the Radio Times and try it with a few different things that you normally read, but you have a month to return it.
That's good.
Yeah, and again, Kay, with having the mirroring option as well, having the extendable arm out over the Radio Times and have it mirrored to the TV, again, is going to make things a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Could you put the camera over, like I read the Daily Mail on a tablet, and when you come to the TV page, I know you can expand it, but it doesn't work all the time properly. Could you put the camera from that onto the tablet to read off the tablet?
Yeah, you could put a tablet underneath the camera if you wanted.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had people who actually have it, you know, when I close the back arm up, so it's looking at distance, looking at their computer screen, you know, because they can't see some stuff. They couldn't magnify stuff up on the computer screen, you know.
Right.
So yeah, you can do, and put the camera looking at another screen. Yes, yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Mark, it's Yvonne, would the
Yes.
speech one do that as well?
The smart reader.
Yes, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, the smart reader. I would say no, because the problem with the smart reader is the arm is at a certain angle facing down onto the table, so it's very hard to move that around. You're right. Actually, you can put a screen underneath it, and it has. I have read out an iPad underneath there. It's read out what's on the iPad. That's fine, but trying to get it to look at anything else, like on a screen that's tipped up or something at distance, it doesn't work like that.
No, if you had it flat on the table.
If you had it flat on the table, yes, it would read out what's on there. Yeah.
Oh, that's handy.
Because I did have someone. Sorry, go on.
Say you had your TV on, and you put the TV guide itself up, or you need to change the settings within the TV because you want to put your accessibility thing on it, or what have you. You can use the Compact 10 to hold up to the screen to be able to see, whereas you can't do that with the smart reader because it's more flexible.
Yeah, but also with I did have someone who had like smart reader, and they were used to reading on their Kindle, and they got they couldn't get enough on the Kindle because they only get about 3 words on the Kindle. They wanted it so big, so they still read it on the Kindle, but they just put the Kindle underneath the reader, and then got it to read out like that because their Kindle wouldn't read out, and that's just the way they were used to doing it.
That's handy.
Find an audible book.
I could get books then.
We have. I was just saying to Jenny, we have just started booking up home demos if anyone wanted to go ahead with that. We understand that people don't at the moment, but we do have a test beforehand, and we have all the PPE, and obviously we keep distance in the home if someone did want to look at anything at home. So we have started doing that again.
So if somebody wanted to purchase one, Mark, on the trial basis because they were confident enough to give it a go themselves at home and didn't necessarily need a home visit, how would that process work for them? Would they pay for it up front, get it delivered, have their trial, and then get a reimbursement should they find it not suitable?
Absolutely, yeah. So you pay for it either if you're happy to have it delivered just in the by courier, then that was what would happen. You can wait, and we could come to the house now, but we obviously prefer it if people just have it delivered by courier at the moment with COVID. And then you have this month period to go through it. I can talk it through with you. The engineer at the office can talk it through with you. We can do 2 or 3 times. We can go through all the how to use it. And then at the end of the month, you can't get on with it. Just let us know, and then we collect it and get the money back to you. And we have started doing finance as well, so you can spread it over a year, interest free. But the only thing I'd say about that is they are at the moment you have to have an email address to do that.
Does it, when it comes through the post, does it have a booklet with all the instructions? Yes,
it has. So it has the instruction booklet, and as I say, we can talk you through. We can even talk you through unpacking it if you want to. Talk you through using it and that as well over the phone. And we phone you. You're not paying for the phone or anything.
Well, I have a husband who can read the booklet, but like many men, he works on the principle of you put it all together and use it. And then
Well said, Kay.
It comes with a full leaflet. It comes with a quick guide, which is literally about 2 sides. So that's probably, if you can persuade him to read that quick guide, then you'll be away.
Yeah.
Mark, is the quick guide accessible? Because quite often, ironically, we find that within the box, because you're trying to save on packaging, the instructions for magnifiers and things tend to be really small, and you need to have a magnifier for us to get to read.
No, it's quite big print on them. It's quite big.
Fabulous.
So is that go online and look for Optelec?
Yes, go online and look for Optelec, or you can phone me direct if you want to. Jenny's got my details, or I can talk it through with you, whatever, or you can just phone the office as well. The office, there's a free phone number which I can give out if you want now, which is 080 and then 8090 8090. That's the free phone number. That's probably the easiest one, and it's really portable. So if you did, after COVID, if you did go anywhere or anything like that, then you can. It is really portable to take with you. But giving a big amount of magnification.
Take it on holiday, and then when you're in the dining room with the menu, you get it out, and everybody says, "Ooh."
Definitely.
Yes.
I was just saying that they will fit in your handbag quite comfortably if you've not got a tiny dinky one.
Yeah.
Got lots of products on his desk there as well. So if you wanted to have a chat with him about any other product that he does have on offer, some of the smaller magnifiers that don't do the speech and things, please let us know and we'll put you in contact with him.
Yeah. And we can do one-to-one or just to talk about stuff or whatever. Yeah, it's no problem.
So that Traveller device you've got there, Mark, as well, can be quite handy also if you're not reliant upon the speech, because it's got a slightly bigger screen, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's got a 13-inch screen, this one, as opposed to a 10-inch, which doesn't sound too much, but it actually makes quite a bit of difference. When I started dealing with this stuff about 20 odd years ago, that was the size of CCTV screens, the big CCTVs. They were like 14 inches, and this is 13, and this is about the same size, because with those they called them 14 inches, but because it was a CRT, the old big monitor, they're actually the bezel around the outside cut down by about an inch, so it actually was. The viewable area on this is the same as what it used to be with the big CCTVs. So you do. I've just got it open now on the screen here, and the nice thing about the Traveller is that the screen moves left to right without moving on the surface of the table or of the print. So it means that you get. Whoops! If I can really straighten up it, you can go along a line and come back again, without having to move the paper or anything like that. It just stays on the same. Then you have to move it around on top of what you're looking at. Yeah.
Right.
But it is lighter and portable, easier to do that. This is a bit heavier to try and drag around. But it's got on a like a roller, so it rolls forwards and backwards. Then it's got an articulated system to move left to right, but it doesn't have speech. The Traveller it was 1,500, but now it's 1,200. It's 1,195. So that has come down a bit in price.
For as fantastic as they are, the Compact offers a different service to what you're getting out of your Synaptic.
Yeah.
So no reason why the two can't work together,
Yeah.
or you can use them independently. You know, it's just always good multiple options with things.